I know I'm very late with this particular piece of news here, people, but I want to give my brief take on it anyway. And that is the news that Carl Frampton has signed a promotional deal with Frank Warren. There had been apparently some negotiations between Carl Frampton and his former promoter, Eddie Hearn, about possibly re-signing with Matchroom. And there's some suggestion by some people online that Frampton actually courted Hearn and made Hearn think like he was going to sign him just to mess him around when he had no real intention to, because he don't like him personally, and then he went to sign with Frank Warren. Who knows? It's possible. I remember something like that did happen with Audley Harrison, but Audley Harrison did it to Frank Warren. Supposedly, anyway, this is what is said in the media and whatnot, that Audley Harrison was courting Frank Warren, and all along he was doing negotiations with the BBC to, you know, have his own promotional situation, an independent promotional situation, and do a TV deal with the BBC. But all the while he was stringing Frank Warren along, making Warren believe that he was going to sign with him. Then he signed with the BBC, and since then Warren was upset. He felt like he'd been double crossed by Audley Harrison. Is that what Carl Frampton has done here with Eddie Hearn? I don't know. Does it even matter? Not really. Would Hearn be that bothered about it? I doubt it. Hearn seems quite objective when it comes to business, most of the time anyway. I think some of the dealings that his fighters have had with Al Heyman, maybe he gets a little personal about that. But for the most part, I think he remains quite objective, from what I've seen anyway, as an outsider looking in. But Frampton signing with Frank Warren, I'm not surprised. I was actually surprised that he was considering going back to Eddie Hearn. To me, that was a bit of a surprise. I thought like, well, he doesn't like Hearn. You know, he's already been there. He left Hearn because he wasn't happy with the job that Hearn did with him. Why would he go back to him? I thought he'd probably either go to the US and just fully be in Al Heyman's embrace, or maybe he would sign with Frank Warren. So this news doesn't surprise me at all. And it's, again, far less surprising to me than him re-signing with Eddie Hearn. Although at one stage it seemed as though that might happen. How good a job will Frank Warren do? I mean, he's got BT Sport. I'm not sure the BT Sport link up with Box Nation has been an overnight success. In fact, I don't believe it has. One thing I can say, though, is the production value of Frank Warren's shows has gone up since linking up with BT Sport. You know, noticeably gone up. They look a lot more polished and professional now than when it was just Box Nation on their own. Frampton has a fan base, we know that. One of the guarantees that Frampton wanted from whichever promoter he was going to sign with, he's been saying this since he left the McGuigan's, one of the guarantees that he wanted was that he would get a homecoming fight, stadium fight in Ireland. That's what he wanted. And I'm guessing Frank Warren must have guaranteed him that. So when you're dealing with a fighter who already has an established fan base, who's already very popular, it's difficult to mess it up promotionally. And Frank Warren has been around a long time. He knows the game. Is he really going to mess up a Carl Frampton promotional situation? I mean, this is the biggest name that Frank Warren has now, is Carl Frampton. It's actually a bit of a coup for Frank Warren to sign someone that's this popular. So maybe this could kick Frank Warren up to the next level and get him back as a serious rival for Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn hasn't had any serious rivals for a long time now. Let's see if Frank Warren can get back into that position with Carl Frampton. You know, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Was this the right move for Carl Frampton, signing with Frank Warren? And again, if you're unaware, there is an interview on IFL TV with Carl Frampton in which he states that he still is maintaining a relationship with Al Heyman. And that's important because you've got fighters like Lee Selby, Leo Santa Cruz, etc., who are Al Heyman fighters. So if he's hoping to get fights with those guys, Abner Mares as well, if he's hoping to get fights with those guys, is Abner Mares Al Heyman? I think he is, yeah. So if he's hoping to get fights with those guys, then the Al Heyman connection is important. You know, Warren might be able to deal with the UK side of things And I know Al Heyman is not officially a promoter, but with the fighters he has and the fact that Frampton wants fights with those guys, it will make it easier with Uncle Al still, you know, advising him or whatnot. So anyway, let me know how you feel about this in the comment section below, people. It's Hatman, I'm out.